Happy Wednesday. I'm Julie Tam, managing broker of LYN Realty in Houston, and you're watching Smarter Real Estate weekly on Wednesdays. Welcome to this episode of my special series, Building My Dream Home. And it's actually been a few weeks since I've done an episode in this series because I've done some other real estate topics in the meantime. But today I am excited to not have to stand on mud just to get into our new home under construction because we actually have concrete that's finished outside. I'm going to be showing you outside and inside today and all the changes that have happened in the last few weeks, including the driveway, the staircases, the patios, both front and back. The back will be toward the end of the video. And then inside, all of the rest of the cabinets have been installed. They're not completely finished. There's still some finishing touches, as you'll see, but you'll get a really good idea once we go inside. All right, as you can see, I'm actually walking on our new sidewalk. I had actually misspoken in a previous video about the width of the sidewalk. It is wider, but it doesn't jut out into the street like I said mistakenly. It juts into the yard. As you can see, our sidewalk is wider than our neighbors, and that's because of a new City of Houston requirement. Also, you can see how exciting, there's a little bit of grading that has already happened. Of course, they have to, do more to make the level of the yard correct in terms of a smooth slope and also one that will drain water out to the street and into the gutters properly, into the storm drains. But you can see the T-shaped driveway having already been installed, double wide here where I'm standing, and then this T-shape that juts out in front of the stairs that lead up to the front door. It is a windy day today. And so you can see the stairs are built with cinder blocks. It's got a nice gentle curve on each side, flaring out a little bit. They're filling it in with the mortar concrete, and then we'll actually be able to enter the house via the front door in the near future. The dumpster is also back on the driveway. As you can see, the overhead garage door is installed as well and painted black. So that's exciting. Just one more layer to secure the home right now. And we're going to come through the garage again and go up these stairs as we've been doing quite a bit lately. And I want to point out that you can see there's some cracks and blemishes happening with the staircase here that was also built with cinder blocks, same way that the exterior stairs are being built, but this is not anything unusual, okay? This is pretty common. Settling will happen during especially the first year that a home is built, sometimes right away like this, because you've got this big structure that's very heavy that's just been placed on the dirt. It takes time for that all to settle and move and get in place. And most builders have a warranty for the first year on workmanship. And so they'll come back and patch and paint where the settlement cracks have happened. I can tell you that in our current home, which we've been in for 11 years now, we also built it brand new. All of the cracks happened during the first year, and after the builder patched and painted, there were no more cracks that appeared in the last 10 years. So that's pretty good. And I hope that bodes well because we're using the same builder for this house. All right, so we're talking about cabinets now. We've shown you the mudroom cabinets and cabinets like these that were site built or job built, custom built here on site, where the carpenter actually cuts the wood and everything and installs it. Same with the living room cabinets that you can see flanking the fireplace. But today we're talking about all the other cabinets that were not custom site built. So first, the powder room. So we have a marble top, Carrara marble top, and it's very dusty. And the gold trim around here with the handle, as you can see. This handle is missing because the construction superintendent actually took it off for us to be able to take it to the showroom to pick out our plumbing. This pre-built cabinet that we bought actually has 3 holes up here on the countertop where we'll be installing the 3-hole faucet. So we needed to get the right shade of gold. And believe it or not, there are many different shades of gold, which are also called brass. And so we needed to be able to take the hardware off and go match it to the faucets that we were looking at in the showroom. And yes, this is a beautiful piece that's here. They will be installing it right in there in the powder room. And yeah, there's a couple of little nicks, chips, and stuff that the superintendent's folks are going to be able to fix and paint over. And we've also gotten a credit back from Howes, the website where we ordered this. It's a Bema brand. It's just an expensive vanity. It was over $2,000. Now it's on sale for $600 less, roughly. So I'm kind of like, but anyway, at the time it kept going out of stock, and so we needed to get it ASAP and bring it over here. But yes, they are giving us a credit because of the blemishes that came with the cabinet. All right, guys, look at this. Here we have the kitchen. When cabinets are installed, it's a really exciting step for a couple of reasons, many more reasons, but a couple of main reasons. One is that it really gives you definition of the room. Before, this was just one big area. Now we can see where the living room ends and the kitchen begins, essentially, which is right here at the island. Of course, we'll be able to see even better once they put the countertops on, which would be the next step after this, along with the flooring that's going to be able to go down. So that's the second thing that makes cabinets really exciting, is once they're in, everything else after it can be installed. Then nothing else could have been installed until the cabinets were in, because they couldn't put the flooring down. And then of course, without that, you can't put the hardware either. You can't put the plumbing and the faucets in the cabinets. But now that that's all here, that can happen. Plus lighting will come. And so that'll finish things up pretty, rapidly within the next few months. All right. So what I'm going to show you is not only the cabinets, but a few of the problems we encountered, so that you know that these things can happen. Mistakes can happen, misunderstanding, miscommunication, things like that. Even when you're very meticulous, like we have been during this entire process over the past 2 years since we purchased the lot on which this home is being built. And so this is the island. Right now, the entire length is 10 feet, but it's going to have 1 extra foot because the countertop will have an overhang at the end on that end by the breakfast area. And then this side where I'm standing is where we're going to have a waterfall. And we really wanted that look because it's a modern take on the waterfall island. I'm kind of getting tired of seeing the double waterfall where you've got the countertop falling down this side and the other side. So our designer had the great idea, and we agreed to do just a one-sided one. So the other side will actually have more space for seating. We can put bar stools down there, or just, when we're having a party and serving a buffet, it will just be extra countertop, for that, which would work if it was a waterfall on that side too. But just a double waterfall is more, I guess, done a lot and not as interesting. Okay, so let's see. We've got the paved stone. When I mentioned colors, it's all in Sherwin-Williams. This is factory built cabinets, okay? They are custom sized to the space, but they are built in a factory with precision and then brought out here to install. That is less expensive than the site built cabinets that the carpenter does right here on site. But you actually get you should be, theoretically, if the quality is good, get an even more precise, clean finish with a factory that a carpenter on site cannot necessarily replicate, or few can, I should say. So the vent hood is still missing right now, but that will be going in. And I want to show you something kind of funny. If you look, there's like a two-tone situation going on. So they made a mistake. The island cabinets are supposed to be tricorn black, so there shouldn't be any paved stone anymore. So they're going to repaint the black. And as you can see, the facings or the fronts of the drawers and cabinets are not all installed yet, but you can see what it looks like. So, for example, if I open and they're not even operating that smoothly yet either, because they've got to come and make some adjustments, but they are soft close drawers and cabinets. See, there you go. All right. And they do pull out all the way. You want drawers that pull out all the way if you're willing to pay for them, so that you can have maximum storage. If you have one that pulls out and then there's a few inches left that are not pulled out, they're kind of in, it's kind of annoying to have to get your hand back there to get things. Here we have these dividers that are going to be for baking trays and cutting boards, things like that, where you can kind of slide them into a slot. Maybe some thin pans, for example. And then here we have the trash can compartment. They've taken off the front to work on this door. It was installed at first, but there's also a missing trash can there. And so you can really see the slot, where the big Sub-Zero refrigerator is going to be. We're going to have our dishwasher here. The apron sink, which is also known as a farmhouse sink, will be in this slot. And let me swing around and show you the first of our little issues that we discovered. So when you're building a custom home, you want everything to be perfect. That's the whole point of custom, right? You get to make all your decisions, look at every detail, and get it just right. Well, here is where there's just a small issue. You can see the door frame here, and then the drawer juts out and just kind of, it doesn't touch, but it is in terms of, the location in front of, like, crossing over the door frame if you were to step back and take a look at it that way. And it bothered me at first because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want that. I want it to be where these cabinets are in more, or, door frame is out more, and there's a separation. So the door frame would need to come out, at least another inch, roughly, right? Well, we can't do that because these are standard 24-inch deep cabinets for the lowers. uppers are 12-inch deep. And so it has to be this way. The only way you could correct this is if you made the pantry door narrower, therefore moving the door frame this way, but then that would feel too narrow because as it is, it's just wide enough. It's, it's a good width, but I'm a small person. If you're bigger, it's going to start to feel cramped. So we really can't fix this problem. And this one's not too egregious, again, because it's not actually touching the frame. And our builder liked to tell us repeatedly that he built a $6 million house with the same issue. And so since ours isn't quite that expensive, though it is a 7-figure, then, I guess we'll have to just deal with that and not look at that too much. All right, over to the butler's pantry and bar area. So they still have to put the panel on the side, but you can see in tricorn black what it looks like. There is an opening here for the drink fridge. And here is where another issue is popping up about the kind of overlap or encroachment, if you will. If you actually come over to the formal dining side and turn around to look, you can see it better. Here, you can see how this drawer actually juts out past or beyond the edge of this wall. That also bothered me because I thought, you know what, it needs to be flush or even recessed in, definitely not sticking out past this wall. So what they're going to do to solve this problem, because again, you cannot make the cabinets any shallower. We measured them. They really are the 24 inches in depth from the wall all the way out to here. Or actually, they measure out to here, but then the thickness of the drawer or the cabinet door adds another roughly 1/2 inch. But they're going to add another 2x4 piece of wood against this wall, and that will bring it out to here and cover this. And the countertop for this cabinet as well as for the kitchen is not going to have a huge overhang. In fact, modern countertops really don't. That's kind of more old school. So it's going to hang over just enough to go past the drawer. The idea is if you spill something on the countertop, you don't want the liquid to run off and then into the drawer or the cabinet. So it needs to run off and onto the floor, which is less egregious than running into your cabinets. So once they do that, that'll solve this problem and that'll be good. They'll move the baseboard along with it, and then I will be happy. And this doorway is actually wider than the pantry by itself, in and of itself, but also because the pantry has an actual door, and that when you open the door, right, there's still part of that door here jutting out. That takes up more space in the doorway, so then you have less space. Here, there's no door, so you literally have the maximum width of the doorway, and it's enough. So even adding that couple inches of the 2x4 will be okay. So I'm glad we could solve that problem. All right, into the study. So as you can see, we have the built-ins from floor to ceiling, just like in the kitchen, from floor to ceiling. Having that gap above the upper cabinet is okay. It doesn't look quite as grand. I mean, you could put some decor on top or you can ignore it, but this is a really nice look. And so this is what we wanted and exactly what we're getting. But we have another problem in here. And this problem, I believe, may be a little bit worse than the ones I've shown you so far. But not to fret, we have a solution. So here, somehow, when the cabinet company came, they did not account for the width of the frame around the window and the door to the study closet. They measured it, and those frames were not installed yet. But I said, well, how come they didn't figure out that there would be frames eventually, and you should have asked about the width of those? So somehow the mistake was made. And so you could either tell them, please start from scratch, take these cabinets away, redo the whole thing, so that these trim pieces don't overlap the window frame and the door frame, but then that would take a long time and we would end up suffering because we're paying interest on our construction loan and then we're waiting and we don't get to live in this home while we're paying all this money. So let's just solve it in a creative way. And so I took a look at it more closely and I said, you know what? If we look here really closely, this countertop, okay, it has an extra piece of trim that's roughly 1/2 inch wide, as you can see. There's a seam along here. So what they could do is actually just cut this off, and obviously it's going to expose the edge of here. That's why this trim was placed, because this edge of this piece is actually raw. It's exposed, okay? And so they put this here to cover up this exposed edge from this countertop. But you could actually add a thinner trim piece. It doesn't have to be this thick, though the thickness of this does look good and it gives you even more counter space. But if we add a really thin one that's, like maybe less than a centimeter thick or something like that, then it would not overlap the window either at all or not as much. And so that will make it look better. Same, actually both sides here, we had the same issue. But then if you look at the upper trim, the one on the right, there is no overlap on the frames. That one's fine, but the one on the left there is. And so we're going to use the same thin trim to replace the one you see there. That is just a trim piece that's been installed over the outside edge of the shelf there, the shelf border, I guess you could say. And so that will, again, allow it to not overlap over the window frame. And same thing over here with this door frame, the lower and the upper. And so we can solve that problem, because I was like, oh, I just can't be looking at that for the next however many years we're living in this house. It really bothers me. Okay, so let us head upstairs and take a look at the rest of the cabinets in the house. And I will remind you at the end, we're going to go to the back so that you guys can see the finished staircase that goes down to our lower level ground patio there in the backyard. Okay, we're going to start in the laundry room. Okay, very nice pale green color. I wanted the laundry room to look fresh, refreshing, clean. And so this is the look we were trying to achieve with the tile that's already been laid, this kind of a white with a little bit of sheen, almost like a pearl. There's like a pearlescence to it, pearlesque, whatever the word is. I can't think of it at the moment. But yes, these cabinets here, nothing really wrong with these cabinets. Just, there's blemishes here and there, little nicks and scratches or whatnot. They're aware of it. They will fix it. Those are not a big deal. The things that I've shown you so far are actual corrections and changes that are needed. And so those are definitely a bigger deal that actually, need discussion. Here, there's like little notches on both corners that are a little bigger than they should be. Could be tightened. You can see the gap there where they nailed the trim piece on at the end. And so we've pointed that out as well. Let's go into the guest bath and take a look at what's going on here. Same color cabinets, paved stone, as was used in the kitchen as well as the living room. Nothing wrong with these, just nice standard cabinets. And you can see the way we've done the border here. This is a particular type of shape. We have this kind of, I think you call this beading or trim anyway, this extra little thing. It's like a pillow. It's a soft, it's a rounded, curved edge. So it's not a pure shaker style, because shaker, you wouldn't have this. It would just be like this very basic, so we wanted to have a little bit of softness to it. But of course, the top drawers, they just put flat. So there's a little bit of difference in, in the finish, and a little bit of variety. Okay. Yes. And so that's all done. And I think you've already seen the tile on the walls from a previous video. So we'll run over here to go across the balcony and into the kids' bath, where we are hoping that the tile flooring and the shower wall tile that's delayed currently will hurry itself up and get here, because otherwise we might have to pick an alternative, and we don't want to do that. So you can see these nice bluish cabinets. And I did go over all the exact colors in a previous video of the tile and the cabinets. So I'm not going to mention all of that this time, but you can just see where the two vanities are. And then I didn't show you before, but now they've got two product niches cut out on the wall here so we can put shampoo and conditioner and things like that. One important thing is where they have the slope for the bottom of the niche where you're going to be putting your shampoos and other toiletries. It needs to have a slight slope so that excess water can flow off and not collect and then grow mildew. But you cannot have it so sloped where things tip over and fall over. So it's good to take, just bring a bottle of something that can sit here and, you can test out to see if it's going to fall over or not. All right, let's go around to the owner's suite, our bedroom, aka the primary bath. Now, these cabinets ended up on a different wood, a different look than what we originally had discussed with the cabinet company. I don't know what happened with their rep and why they ended up doing this, but we're okay with it. This gives you a more natural wood look. As you can see, these are stained cabinets. The cabinets we've seen so far in the home are painted, so you lose the wood grain. You don't even see the wood grain anymore. Meaning for those cabinets, you can use a type of wood that's paint grade. It doesn't need to be as nice of a wood because you don't see the wood anyway. But here, this is alder. We can actually see the wood. You can see the little, rounded parts and the wood grain here. The fronts are not there yet. As you can see, it's still raw. But yeah, you can see that was his side and now her side. as in my side. And then you can really see it there along the side of the panel there of the linen cabinets. Um, that just shows you, what the wood's going to look like. And because of that, we don't use the paint grade, not the least expensive wood, because you are staining it and seeing the wood. And the stain is different from paint because stain goes into the wood, but still keeps the grain visible. When you paint over it, you cover up all the grain. So whether or not it's wood, nobody can see. And if you walk in here, you can see, more of these linen drawers and shelves. So we're going to have a big bank of linen cabinets there, and plus another one above the toilet there in the water closet. Okay, so that's it for cabinets indoors. And you can see the status here of these tiled walls, and obviously all the rest of the flooring is going to go in next. I am going to take you down, as I promised, to the outside, to the back. And while I do that, I hope you will like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. I also post on LinkedIn, and you really don't want to miss an episode because I take you through my real estate adventures and also arm you with practical strategies to be a smarter buyer, seller, tenant, or landlord. And I'm going to walk really fast so I can get ahead and see if I can open the sliding glass door, since we forgot to open it before starting this video. Woo! Easy breezy. I was prepared to have it get stuck or something. That can happen when dirty construction is going on because the tracks can get filled with debris. All right, here we go. No railing yet, but it's a step down from here. The back patio, we're going to have an outdoor kitchen. And then you see the staircase that goes all the way down to that lower level patio. It's actually a really large patio. I said I wasn't going to walk down in the video, but I'm going to, because I want to show you with perspective. When you see my size, how much space we're going to have down here on this concrete patio. It's pretty exciting. Hello. I don't remember if I've mentioned in previous videos, but a few changes as can happen over the course of construction. One is that down here, we were originally going to have a pergola. I don't think it's going to work out that great because if you see on the walls, and I don't think we actually planned this detail exactly as best as we could with the builder and everything, those are where the light fixtures are going to go. And in order to have a pergola, you would have to fit it right above the light fixture and below the windowsill. And that's pretty tight. And to get it exactly the right height, it could happen. You could definitely do it with custom, most likely. But buying one from Wayfair as we originally planned and getting it just right, not really sure if we wanted to go that route. And so if you put the pergola roof under the light, then the light would not stream down into the area out here to give you light, which is the whole point. And so what we actually may end up doing instead is, instead of having the pergola covering a lot of this patio, we are actually going to just buy an umbrella, stick it in the middle of our patio table. There's a hole, where you stick the pole, and that'll shade the table while we're out here eating or whatnot. And then during times of the day when the sun is actually on the other side of the house like it is now, the house is so tall, we're completely shaded from the sun anyway. So as long as it's not raining outside, if it's a day like this, we can play and enjoy ourselves out here even without any sort of cover. So, that works just fine. Wanted you to peek around the corner too, because here they've installed a staircase that goes up to the meters on the side of the house. When you have a home in the floodplain and your meters are installed above the flood line, as in more than 8 feet in the air, the only way to reach them is by climbing up the stairs. So you've got that for here. The AC is on the other side of the house, and that AC unit is on top of a platform. That one doesn't have stairs to go up because that side yard is so narrow. By the time you do that, then you wouldn't even be able to walk under it, because on the other side, you actually have to walk under the platform. The side yard is barely wider than the platform structure, and so you can't have stairs. Otherwise, as you can see, you couldn't walk through. So you have to be able to walk through that side yard. And so if the AC repairman were to come out, they would just bring their own ladder and get up, to that platform. It's not that high. I mean, a regular ladder would do the trick. Okay, the other thing is, I wanted to mention that the fireplace tiles that go around the fireplace, right, on the walls from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, that one is delayed even further, right, a few months beyond what they were originally thinking, the tile supplier. And so we actually are having to pick out a different tile, but it's actually going to be a very similar tile and similar in price as the original choice. And so, that's the way it goes. Also, for the outdoor kitchen, we haven't shown you this either, because this is also a development since I showed you the tile sample videos from before. So we actually don't have enough countertop material from the granite countertop for the outdoor kitchen to do a backsplash. We wanted to do a 6-inch backsplash, a little bit higher, so for cooking outdoors, the grease, the smoke, that it wouldn't stain the white stucco. And so because of that, we were like, well, let's just do a tile then. And then the pretty thing to do would be to tile from the countertop all the way up to the ceiling and from left to right. So that entire wall of the outdoor kitchen is going to be really dramatic, really nice, and we'll show you in a future video. So right now I want to thank you for watching as I come to an end, and hope you will give me feedback, send me a message, comment below. I love to hear from you. And again, like, please, if you found this informational or entertaining. I always want to help you out if you're looking to either buy a new home, renovate an existing one, or build a home from scratch, or come in at any point in the process. Lots of good information that's useful to you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.